K divas, and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a tutorial for this gorgeous off-shoulder blazer dress that I wore for my birthday shoot last year. It's better late than never, and I know, yes, it's been a minute, but it's finally here. And in this particular video, I'm going to show how I made the sewing patterns from scratch using my own measurements. So you have to apply your own measurement or that of your client if you want to recreate this for yourself. The original dress design is inspired by a Jacquemus dress I saw on the actress who played Queen Charlotte. She wore it for one of their previous catwalk shows, and it just looks so elegant, so regal, and so effortless on her, hence why I did my own version for my birthday shoot. Now if you'd like to see how I made the sewing patterns, make sure to keep on watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you want more tutorials like this on the channel. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below so you'll be the first to know every single week when new videos drop on the channel. Now this is the pattern tutorial. The next video will be the sewing tutorial, so make sure to watch both if you want to follow through and recreate this dress design for yourself. These are the measurements that I'm going to be using to create the sewing patterns for the front, the back, and the sleeve of this blazer dress. Starting off with the front dress pattern, I have drawn a long vertical line and a short horizontal line across the top, which is going to be my chest line, and I'm marking 3 inches below the chest line. That is going to become my bust line, and then I'm going to square that across so I have it clear and visible to work with. From the bust line, I'm going to mark the vertical distance from my bust to my waist, and then from my waist to my hip. And next up, mark my desired dress length. I always recommend you work with yours, so measure yourself and then use that measurement so the dress actually fits you in a way that is flattering and is comfortable on your body. Along the chest line, I'm going to mark half of my across the chest measurement, and once I have that marked there, I'm going to move down to my bust line and mark a quarter of my bust measurement plus some ease. You can use ½ an inch of ease or 1 inch of ease, depending on how you like your garments to fit on you. Along the waistline, I'm marking a quarter of my waist measurement plus ease and 1 inch waist dart, and then I'm going in here to connect them together so I have my side seam coming together clearly. Along the hip, I'm marking a quarter of my hip measurement plus ease, and then my desired hem width. The silhouette of the dress is a very slight A-line, so it flares out just a little bit from the hip out to the hem. This way I'm able to move around comfortably. I'm just connecting the waistline to the hip and to the hem, so I have the entire side seam of the front of the dress fully created. Next up here, I'm going to my waistline and I'm marking half of my nipple to nipple measurement, and across that I'm going to draw a vertical line that visibly divides my front into two. Along the waist, I'm marking ½ an inch away on both sides, which is going to become my waist dart, and my dart starts 1 inch below my bust line and ends 1 inch below the hip line. These points I'm going to connect together to make the dart shape. At the bottom is shaped like this, but at the top I actually drew in the dart like this shape, so it takes away some of the excess that would be under my bust. So there is a clear dividing line from the first to the second panel on the middle to the side. I'm just extending the vertical line upwards and downwards, and along the chest line to prevent gaping, I am marking away ½ an inch on both sides and then connecting it back to the top of my dart. This way, when I stitch away that amount, it kind of allows the dress to lay flat on my chest. To create room for the button and the button stand, I'm extending the center front edge by 1 inch because it's going to have like a button up situation on the front, and I'm just extending the key points such as the hip, the waist, and the bust line. But I want the neckline to actually be a sweetheart neckline, so this I'm going to shape on the front, and it's going to end 1 inch above my bust line. So that I'm just going to draw in with the help of my pattern master, so I have a sweetheart neckline on the front of my blazer dress. The plan is to go in here and trace off the 2 panels for the front. So the middle one where the button and the button stand is going to be, and then the one on the side. Once I've traced them off, I added a 1 centimeter seam allowance around and a 2 centimeter seam allowance or hem allowance at the bottom, because I'm going to line this dress. That way I have enough seam allowance in place to stitch things together and to finish up the hemline very neatly on the inside. So I'm just going out to cut out the pattern for the front, and I have the 2 pieces, the front mid panel, and I'm going to cut 2 of this in the main fabric and 2 of this in the lining. And I also went in to cut out the second front panel that sits on the side. This I'm going to cut 2 pieces off. Moving on to the back dress pattern, I'm going to work from the same plan. And the first change I'm doing here with the blue pen is I'm just essentially drawing a straight line that goes from the chest line to the waistline. So rather than have the dart shaped the way it is, it's just going to be straight. And then along the waistline, I'm going to be shaping it inwards by 1/2 inch to create a center back dart. So that just allows it to like scape and fall smoothly on the back of my body. The next thing I'm going to do after that is to actually going to reshape the back arm curve, which is a little bit shallower compared to the front. With those changes made, I will be going in to trace off the panels for the back, which is like the outline I've done in white and in red, so that gives you a good idea of what size that you need to trace for the back. It can get a bit confusing when you do a front and back plan on the same piece of paper, but I like to work that way because it saves me time and paper. Now this is the first back piece, which is the middle one, and then I have the one on the side. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of each in my lining and in my main fabric as well. The final piece of pattern is the sleeve, and I have a piece of paper here which I'm going to be using to trace off the front arm and the back arm curve. Now I have my paper here folded in half. I'm going to move it away by 1/2 of my around bicep measurement. Once I have that moved in such a way that I'm happy, put down some weight to prevent the paper from moving, I'm going to trace off the arm curve as well as the top edge of the chest line, and then open it up and trace the other side. So I trace off the back arm curve first. Now I'm going to trace off the front. So along the arm curve at the bottom, transfer the notch to differentiate the front from the back, and then the top edge, because it's an off shoulder sleeve, so it has to connect to the chest line in a straight way. Using my pattern master and my marker pen, I'm connecting the dashed lines together like so they are visible and clear for me to work with. And once I have them drawn together, I'm going to actually go and mark the desired sleeve length. I wanted it to be just at my wrist, so if I had jewelry on, the jewelry would be visible, maybe a bracelet or a ring. So I mark that length there, and then I'm going to go in and fold the paper and draw in the sleeve hemline. From my hemline upwards, I'm marking the vertical distance from the hem to my elbow, and then I'm going to square that point across like so. And then along that line, I'm going to mark 1/2 of my around elbow measurement plus some ease. And whatever that measurement is, I literally just marked it on the hemline because I'm going to go in to actually change the shape of the sleeve. Once I have those points marked, I'm drawing in the side seam connecting the top, the middle, and the hem of my sleeve pattern. And then I just went in here to add my 1 centimeter seam allowance and 2 centimeter hem allowance on the bottom. Once I had that drawn in place, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sleeve pattern because I want to actually go in and slash and spread the bottom part of the sleeve to create the trumpet effect that this sleeve design has. The first thing I'm doing in here is to divide the sleeve into 2 along the middle, and then I'm going to cut along that dividing line from the hem all the way to the top of the sleeve. And then I'm going to go to the elbow line and slash it from the inside to the outside, just cut as close as possible to the edge. Then I'm going to put some paper underneath and spread along the bottom and along the middle. So you're adding volume to the hem and to the middle of the sleeve. I'm spreading the hemline by 6.5 inches. I'm going to add some tape to join the slashed pattern to the paper underneath, and then connect both sides of the sleeve pattern so I have a visible and clear hemline. Cutting out all the excess paper I didn't need on my sleeve pattern, I'm just adding in a grain line here so that will guide me when I'm cutting the pattern onto fabric. These are all of the pattern pieces I actually made to create the dress. I have my front 2 pieces, my back 2 pieces, and then 1 piece for my sleeve. I use the same pattern piece to cut my lining. I just cut the lining on the actual hem plus 1 centimeter rather than 2, so that way there was a difference in terms of the hem seam allowance. Next time I'm going to show cutting, stitching, and fitting the blazer dress on myself. This was such a fun project, and I hope you guys will stick around to actually see the second half of this video and this dress coming together nicely. Until next time, have a good morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are. Bye.